What the heck is the difference between restock limits and IPI storage limits? What the hell is the difference between those two? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you. Now, if you like this kind of content where I'm helping you make more money online, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Really, really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And also consider subscribing to my channel because we post awesome videos like this each and every day. All right, let's get into it. With the full knowledge that Amazon's getting busier and busier and busier, like busier and busier and busier, Amazon's getting this Q4 is going to be insanely busy. Like people are locking down, they'll be shopping online instead of shopping in the mall. Okay, that's what's going to happen. Because of that, you want to have a shitload of stock ready to sell. You've got to have a shitload of stock. The last thing you'd want to do is run out of your stock, because then, you know, you're going to miss out on a ton of potential sales. But there is a problem, and that problem is something that Maddie has very, very nicely put together here. And it's the difference between the amount of stock that Amazon says you can have versus the amount of stock that Amazon lets you put in the warehouse. Okay. Now you'd think they would be the same, but they are not. So let's just demonstrate that with this. Where have I got this open? Here we go. So this is your IPI, Inventory Performance Index. A couple of things you may not know about this. First one, oh, well, you may not know this at all. So the first one is if you are what's called an individual seller, you get a finite amount of storage. You can still do FBA, but you get a very finite amount of storage in FBA warehouse. Okay, I think it is 10 feet, something like that. Like it's a finite amount. I think it's 10 feet. So that's a very, very good reason not to be on the individual plan. If you want to use FBA, you've got to be on a professional plan, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get all your shit in there. Okay. The other thing to note as well is that as you are a new seller, if you're a new seller, you actually get quite a long honeymoon period where your IPI is not really, well, it's measured, but it doesn't affect your how much stuff, your restock limits. Okay, what's called a restock limit. And the easiest way of thinking about it is IPI equals restock limit. So that's the easiest way of thinking about it. So when you're a new seller, those two things, it's okay for it to, you know, it won't be great. Amazon knows that. They don't really make any decisions about the amount you can stock, restock in based on that, because you're just getting started. Okay, so that's kind of cool. You get like a honeymoon period. But then once you are out of your honeymoon, then you are governed by your IPI, and that is based upon your previous history and what Amazon assumes you're going to do going forward based on other people within your category and what they have done going forward as well. So it makes it so that, you know, they don't want you to use their warehouses to store heaps of stuff that you're never, ever going to sell. All right. So that's kind of where that comes in and why that comes in handy as well. So there's that. So you get your IPI, and that is directly to your restock limits, the amount that Amazon says you can put into restock. Okay, that's cool. That's awesome, actually. Fantastic. And typically, if you've got anything over 450, you get a lot of restock space. Okay, that's cool. So then you've also got something called storage volume, the amount of storage you can actually have. We'll talk about how to get around that in a second. The amount of storage you can actually have. And this is different. So this is all based upon how much space Amazon's got. So there's the how much you can put in, and then there's the how much Amazon will actually let you put in, simply because of your location, where your products are selling really, really well, and how much space is available at those warehouses. That is what dictates that. So you could have a fantastic IPI score and says it's like you've got unlimited storage volume, restock limits through the roof, but you still can't get your shit in there because Amazon just doesn't have the space. Okay, so they're different things because of that. Now, this quarter coming up, this quarter, you will absolutely run into that without a shadow of a doubt. If you're selling any volume at all of product, then you're going to run into it. And so what you need to do right now is get yourself a third party, what's called a 3PL, third party logistics company, or a warehouse where you can send your stuff to. And essentially what you do is you drip feed your stock from your warehouse into Amazon's warehouses according to how much stock Amazon lets you put into the warehouses. That's how you have to handle it. You can actually use that to do some cool things on Amazon as well. Amazon, for instance, will show on your listing how many, anything under 30, how many you've got, and it becomes like a social proof. Oh my God, these things are selling really, really well. There's only 22 left in Amazon's warehouses. I better order. And there's a lot of evidence to say that works. So if you manage it well, you can do that sort of stuff. But you need a 3PL or a warehouse. Now is the time to get that in place. Your obvious question will be next. Who do you use, Neil? Well, the company that I use is in all likelihood not the right company for you, because I'm sending a shitload of stuff in there. And so my volume gets me a great rate. And the companies that I use are high volume companies. Okay. So for instance, PickPack. So it was always a case that these were much, much better for high volume people in Australia. So if you're doing volume, PickPack are awesome. Use those guys. That's who I use. So, but in all likelihood, if you're at the beginning of your journey, they probably won't be right for you, because unless you're doing volume, like, it doesn't make sense, because their charges just make it prohibitive. But if you can amortize those initial charges over a shitload of stock, then it makes sense, and that's when it becomes good. Anyway, so by all means get a quote from them though, and they're good. The other one you want to go look at is Richard Aston at FBA Prep Australia. Oh, is it .com.au? Let's go have a look. Here it is. So FBA Prep Services Australia. Richard Aston is the man for that. I know heaps and heaps of people who are at their kind of beginning phase of their Amazon business, so sub 6 figures a month, say, are using Richard, and that's really, really good. Tell him that you're from us, you get a discount. He's also in the group. He's a cool guy. He's a legit cool guy, okay? The other thing you could do, of course, as well, is go search in our group. So for what people are using as well, and you'll get some information from that to search in that. Just go to that little search icon there and just put in 3PL. I guess that would get it to you. And then you'll find what other people are using too, or what other people are recommending too. Okay. So there's heaps and heaps of options for you, but I truly believe this year, because Amazon still has not caught up to the amount of business being transacted through its website, you will need a 3PL. You will need a warehouse. I think it's just good practice to get one. Hello, this is Neil from the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs, and that was a video from my Monday night Q&A session that I have with the members of the awesome Aussie Online Entrepreneurs. We are the fastest growing community of professional sellers here in Australia. Over 2,500 members, with sales, by the way, of over $50 million on Amazon. If you'd like to find out more about what we do and come and join us, go to www.aussieonlineentrepreneurs.com.au and we will welcome you with open arms. Come, Kin! See you soon.